Good morning, everyone. It's another beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be my neighbor? We don't have shows like that for kids anymore. Let's just show them lots of violence. I don't mean Roadrunner violence. I mean, they got some kind of superhero fighting for Captain Planet or whatever it is. Okay, I got a lash somewhere in there. Got it. Okay. We all need a little help now and then. And one of the greatest secrets that's right out in the open of the Bible is fasting. And you go, you're not going to talk about that today. Well, I am, because it's important. I'll look at some medical reasons why, and then we'll look at some biblical reasons. Fasting was always there. Whenever there was something big that they needed to do, they would pray, naturally, and we all do that. You want to see prayer on steroids? Fast along with it. If it was a big problem, they would fast. My only question is, why do they call it fast when it goes so slow? Okay. Fasting for me is a big deal because my gut doesn't like what I eat most of the time, so if I'm not eating, it's happy. I can't do that for very long, but I feel better, at least at the beginning of a fast, so it's helpful for me. So we're just going to look at some medical things here, and these are just a bunch of little snippets that people put comments up on, medical doctors. I've eliminated all the names and references and dates and all that stuff. It's not important. I'm having my tea this morning. Okay, fasting has been shown to curb sugar cravings. You have those. I have those occasionally. It helps to reduce that craving. It helps to reduce overeating. When you don't eat big meals all the time, your stomach will actually shrink. One of the surgical procedures they have for people who are overweight is to staple their stomach. They staple it so it's only half as big. Well, you can get it to do that naturally by fasting. I don't mean skip one meal every 6 months. I mean fasting. You might have to go a day or two. Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. But the nights were long. Okay, it improves your gut function, and that I can affirm because I've dealt with that. It offers potential protection against various types of cancer. We have a new neighbor came in a tent, waiting for him to pull out. He must be going to work. It's early in the morning. The sun's just now coming up. You can kind of see a little bit of it right there on my face. But it's behind the tree still. Okay. It can help your body to adjust its basic metabolic rate. That's the rate at which you burn calories. Where is this guy going? He's new here, and I don't know that he knows his way around. And I came in late, so I didn't have a chance to talk to him. Okay, so the metabolic rate, again, is the amount of energy your body burns when it's at rest. We should have a low metabolic rate for the most part. Athletes have low metabolic rates. And since I'm not as active as I used to be because of my knees, I have to watch it from the other side of the equation, the diet. So if you get all this stuff working better, it will lower your heart rate and blood pressure. How many people are on blood pressure medication? Which they've proven over a long period of time are not good for you. But high blood pressure is not good for you either. So you want to bring the blood pressure down naturally without the need for pills. Now, if you're on a medical diet, you do what the medical doctor tells you to do with your pills, etc. But you can help the situation by doing some of this. I also want to do a disclaimer. I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm telling you what I have found to be the truth in this. I fast, and so I know what the benefits are. We're talking the physical body right now. We're not even getting into the biblical fasting yet. Okay, so what types of fasting are there? Well, there are juice fasting, where you only drink, well, first off, there's water fasting, where you just drink water. Now, I don't drink water. Most of the time I drink tea, and the tea doesn't have anything in it. There's no sugar, nothing else in it, no artificial sweetener. And if it's all clear liquid, this is what they put you on in the hospital if you're having some gut issues. They put you on a clear liquid diet. That means you can still have, now this isn't the fasting, but you can still have Jell-O and beef or chicken broth, things like that. Clear liquids, basically, it's easier for the gut to digest. So anyhow, water, I modify the water because I don't like water most of the time, to tea, which is a very light stimulant. I drink green tea on top of that, so that's even lighter. And sometimes I have herb teas. I got a number of those. They have really cool flavors. So anyhow, so the next fasting one would be juice fasting, and you're drinking vegetable or fruit juice for a certain period of time. It's again a type of fasting, but you're giving your body a break from the stuff you normally eat. Now, if you're drinking juice, there's still fructose in it, so there's still sugar in it. So you don't, this isn't, this is something you can add to your general fasting, but shouldn't be your primary. Then you can do what they call intermittent fasting. So you fast for a period of time where you completely restrict what you eat for a duration. Now, it doesn't have to be a long time. It can just be for a day or a few days, whatever. You just don't eat. Now, you've got to have liquids. But you can even skip liquids for a short period of time. But you can't do it for very long. Most of the time you're going to find the water fast. People who are fasting for great, like Jesus who fasted for 40 days and nights, I don't know. Traditional fasting back then included water. So did he do that? It doesn't say. The body can't last that many days without water. It can go without food, but it can't last without water, because food, we store up food, but we're not camels, so we don't have stored water. So plan on having some liquids. Okay. And then, so that's the intermittent fasting. Partial fasting can be just certain foods and drinks can be eliminated from your diet. Don't have that box of donuts every morning. Those sound good this morning. There's no place to get those. I can get packaged pastries, but there's no donut shop. Or bagel shop for that matter. I love bagels. I have what I consider a sacrilegious bagel sandwich. I'll put Spam on a bagel. I love that. When my stomach's bothering me, that's one of my bland meals I can eat. Okay, so you just eliminate certain products from your food for a little while. Okay. Now, as you're doing this, you're eliminating, calorie intake. Eventually, after so many hours, your body will begin to burn the stored nutrients that you have. You can pretty much turn anything into sugars, which the body needs to operate. Burning fat is one way. You can convert a protein into sugar too. So there's all kinds of ways that it can create it. So you got to, when you do your fast, keep that in mind. You've got to, we call breakfast breaking the fast, because you haven't had anything to eat all night, theoretically. Don't get up in the middle of the night and go to the refrigerator just before your fast. In any case, fasting is good for the body up to a point, and medically you have to deal with it from a medical point of view. Can you, should you, always consult your doctor on that, and they can give you fasting diets if need be. Now, biblical fasts. The Bible talks about biblical fasts all the time. So these are some comments that people put. Again, I removed the name and date. It helps you to draw closer to God. Fasting can help you draw closer to God and strengthen your faith. Typically, if you go through the Old Testament and New Testament, whenever something major happens, whenever somebody saw a vision, it usually was something that was led into by prayer and fasting. Humility. Fasting can help you be humble before God. You're denying yourself. That forces you to be healthy and humble. Self-control. We all need self-control, more times than others. Fasting can help you resist temptation and grow in self-control. It's harder for some versus others. We all have different bodies, different metabolic rates naturally. I can gain weight easily. The fact that I don't have a lot of weight on me is through proper diet and fasting. Now, I could get some of the weight off by going to the gym and working out. I don't have a gym. All I can do out here in the middle of nowhere is to walk, run. I do have a couple of weights I can lift, but I'm not going to go in that lake and go swimming. I'm not one of those that likes to swim anyway. Prayer. Fasting can help you pray and seek God's guidance. It puts your body under your control so you can hear God better. Solidarity can be brought on by fasting, because you can show your solidarity with others. Many people fast. Many people in the Bible fasted. If you want to relate to them, fast. Spiritual renewal. Fasting can renew your spiritual vision and renew you from the inside out. Remember, the Spirit lives within, so you can create a good environment for the Spirit. Celebrating God's mercy. Fasting can help you celebrate the goodness and mercy of God. It helps you to appreciate when you do have a meal. People pray over their meals. I don't bow my head and pray over meals, because for me, I'm talking to God all the time. It's like, okay, God, I've been talking to you, but stop it for a second. I got to stop and be quiet so I can pray to you. See, to me it sounds silly. I'm always talking to God, so I never have to do that. And bowing your head is a physical thing you can do. You need to do it internally. You have to humbly come before God, and you can do that without bowing your head. If bowing your head is all you can do to make yourself feel like that, that's fine. Actors use props all the time. They use different mannerisms to do certain things because it helps to trigger the body. Do what you have to do. But people say, you didn't pray over your food? Yes, I did. I prayed over it from before I got in the restaurant until I sat down. And it helps you preparing for God's good. Fasting can prepare your heart for all the good things God desires to bring to your lives. Everything good and perfect comes from above. Okay. It can also help you to reveal your spiritual condition. Fasting can enable the Holy Spirit to reveal your condition, resulting in brokenness, repentance, and a transformed life. It can take the body down a notch. A lot of what we do on earth is to sustain the body. Pleasure stuff that we do is for the body, not for the spirit. And it can expose weakness. Fasting can remind you that you're not as nearly strong or disciplined as you think. Of course, continued fasting can have the opposite effect by proving to you that you can be strong while you're praying. And let's see, I think that's a couple more here. Fasting helps you draw closer to God. Yeah, we already did that. It cleanses the soul, raises the mind, subjects one's flesh to the spirit, renders the heart contrite and humble. These, again, just different comments that were in here. These, because these are the biblical fasting, were made by religious officials, not just leave it at that. Pastors and the like. Fasting is a biblical way to truly humble yourself. It enables your spirit to be yielded to God's will. Not my will, but yours, God. Okay, so let's look at some fasting in the Bible and see if it can be inspiration. Ezra 8:23. So we fasted and entreated our God for this, and he answered our prayer. They were told to go ahead and travel even though the road was dangerous, and the king said, "You have nothing to fear, you've got God." So they fasted and prayed before they went off on their journey. And he answered our prayer was the result of that. Matthew 6:16. Moreover, when you fast, do not be like the hypocrites, the religious leaders all around. He wasn't pointing his finger, but he was basically directing it at them. With a sad countenance. Don't look miserable. You don't want people to know you're fasting. I could be fasting right now and you don't know it because I'm not going to let you know it. I often fast. Sometimes while I'm doing my videos, sometimes it's in the middle of a fast. But you're not going to know it. For they disfigure their faces that they may appear to men to be fasting. Assuredly I say to you, this is Jesus talking, assuredly I say to you, they have their reward. No reward for fasting from God if you're doing it for men. Psalms 35:13. But as for me, when they were sick, my clothing was sackcloth. I humbled myself with fasting, and my prayer would return to my own heart. You know, someone who's sick, pray for him. Fast for him too. It adds strength. I don't understand this. I'm merely telling you what the Bible says. I don't know how the fasting, other than the fact that while we're fasting, we're forcing our body to take a back seat. Matthew 17, verse 14. And when they had come to the multitude, a man came to him, kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is an epileptic and suffers severely. For he often falls into the fire and often into the water. His son needs help. Jesus can heal. Take your son to Jesus, your daughter, if you have a problem with them, that they have the need of healing. So I brought him to your disciples, and they could not cure him. Amazing, isn't that? The disciples of Jesus couldn't cure him. And yet Jesus says, greater things than these you will do. And Jesus answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation. I think he could say that over every generation, especially ours today. How long shall I be with you? How long shall I bear with you? Bring him here to me. Frustration. And Jesus rebuked the demon. Oh my God, it was a demon. No wonder they couldn't get rid of it. Is epilepsy caused by demons? In this case, it was. And if it is, in any case that you're dealing with, you can't get rid of it without prayer and fasting. And Jesus rebuked the demon, and it came out of him, and the child was cured from that very hour. Jesus isn't doing anything that we can't do. Under the power of God, we can do everything that Jesus did, under the direction of God, not on our own. And you get that direction by prayer and fasting. Then the disciples came to Jesus privately and said, Why could we not cast it out? Jesus said to them, Because of your unbelief. For surely I say to you, if you have faith of the grain of a mustard seed, which is an extremely small seed, you will say to this mountain, Move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible to you. However, this kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting. So you want to strengthen your prayer, you want to strengthen your walk with God, add fasting to the mix. Again, this is a medical condition too, because we're dealing with the body, so make sure that you're okay to do this. Check with your doctors, and if they tell you it's okay, and they might give you some diets. These are medical doctors, so they're not going to give you spiritual diets, but they will help you to do this. And don't try fasting for a week if you've never fasted before. Try knocking off one meal a day. We don't need 3 meals a day. That was created as a marketing ploy to get you to eat more, so they would sell you more. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Who said that? Marketing people. To get you to buy bacon and eggs, which are good, but I have bacon and eggs for dinner sometimes, not just breakfast. Breakfast, I'm usually tea and maybe a couple of slices of bread. Now, I can have an occasional cheat meal, but I eat a very light breakfast just to get something in my gut, because I need that. Lunch, or a late lunch, 1 o'clock time frame, is my big meal of the day. And then I have something small, a snack or something, in the evening. And I may snack throughout the day on various small things I've got. Peanuts, which I need more. Chips and salsa. So I snack during the day, but I'm not a complete snacker. I don't eat all the time. I just eat every couple of hours just to have something in my gut. But not if I'm fasting. If I'm fasting, I don't eat anything. I drink tea. And white wine is not a clear liquid. You've got to drink non-alcoholic beverages if you're going to fast. Now, you might end it with a good meal. That might include wine or something else. I prefer, if I'm going to have anything to drink alcohol-wise, and I basically don't drink, but if I have to have anything, it has to be something like wine. I may have 3 or 4 glasses of wine a year, just because I'm at events or something, in some ways handing out glasses of stuff, and you got to have it. Sometimes I'll put it back and I haven't finished it, but at least I'll sip from it. I'm not religiously opposed to drinking. My gut doesn't like it. Now, if you have a drinking problem, then you know you can't drink at all. One day at a time, as they say. Something's out there making noise. All right, the sun is further up, as you can see. Have a great day, everybody. Don't start fasting immediately until you do a little bit of research on it. I mean, unless you want to just skip a meal. If you haven't had breakfast yet, skip breakfast. That's continuing the fast. Make your lunch break fast. That's an easy way to start it. But if you've got, like me, I've got gut issues, I have to be careful. I have to watch it because it will send me into a spiral that I have to fight to get back out of. And since I've had my gallbladder out, it's even worse. So do it the right way. But God will help you. Start off, before you even fast, start off praying about it. Tell God that you need to add that to your regimen. Would He help you? I'm afraid with our current economic situation, more people should be doing fasting. Not that we're going to fix the problem, but there's going to be less food. I saw eggs. Somebody told me eggs at Kroger were $5 a carton. I don't know if that's the 12 or the 18, but a regular small carton of eggs was $3.37, I think I saw. Dollar General has been around $3. I haven't bought eggs. I only buy eggs like once or twice a month, so I don't have any need for them right now. I've still got a half a carton. I'm anxious to see, well, I'm not anxious to see the price go up, but I'm anxious to see how much things are costing. It used to be you could say, well, I'm working out. Instead of going to the gym, I'm going to the grocery store. I'm carrying all my food in one deal, and that would be a good workout. Now you can carry out $50 worth of groceries in one hand. It's getting bad, people, but it's not as bad as it's going to get. Stay with Jesus. Learn how to add fasting to your regimen. And may you have a blessed day. Till we meet in the clouds. God bless.